Hello, all amazing people, and remember you're always amazing because you clicked on a small YouTuber's video. We just hit 800 subscribers. We're at 803 as the time of me recording this. Thank you guys so much. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you whether you should summon on Cyno's banner or Venti's banner. Let's get into it. We'll also go over the weapon banner too, but I don't think anybody is probably going to need to summon on this weapon banner. So Cyno's a character that is not released yet, so we're just going to mark him as good rather than bad or like really good in like Ayaka level, right? So we're going to just mark him as good, and we're going to focus on the 4 stars on his banner. So we have Cyno. She's a pretty mid 4-star. Nobody really uses her, and she's not really that good. So then we're left with the other 2 4-stars. Kuki can be used for Hyper Bloom, Aggravate, but at the same time, she's not really that good, and healing as an ability is not that good. So I'm not too, like, amazed with Kuki. I really wish they just had, made her a like crazy support, but they just made her a healer. Healers tend to be awful. Now, Candace has some potential because Candace is a Hydro normal attacking support character. So Candace is going to be giving you a damage bonus on your normal attacks, and she's a Hydro character. So I'm thinking that she might be pretty useful for Yoimiya. We'll see when she comes out, but she also looks cool. She looks like she has the same Beidou Yunjin mechanic. So I can't exactly say that Candace is going to be good because we don't know her ICD and all that, but she could be good for Yoimiya. So if you have Yoimiya, I would suggest looking into Candace. I'm going to be throwing basically a whole bunch of multis at this banner, hoping to get Candace because I want 1 copy of every 4-star basically nowadays. So here we are, and let's go on to Venti's banner, which is probably just going to outright be better. Because Venti, I'm imagining, is going to be better than Cyno. Just because Cyno, he has to compete with Raiden, and I think that's a very tough job. Right? So, same thing. I'm not too impressed with the 4 stars. However, Venti can be really good. However, he can't be really good at the same time. If there's big enemies, he's never being used. You're not using Venti on big enemy teams. It's just not happening. You're going to use Kazuha. You're going to use Jean sometimes over Venti. It's weird. It's Venti, I would recommend he's honestly a skip for me. I mean, really, realistically, even nowadays, I just never find myself actually using Venti. It's very weird because he's like one of the best crowd control characters, but there's so many DPSs like Cyno that are going to be doing massive AoE damage just from their normal attacks, right? Let's say Cyno has the same AoE sort of type thing as Itto. And if he does the same damage as Itto, he's probably not going to need any help. He's probably going to be insanely amazing just saying that he has the AoE of Itto, right? I think Cyno's going to be crazy, and you're not going to need Venti for crowd control because Cyno's going to be moving around. He's going to be killing all the small enemies that need to be killed, and you don't need Venti for it. I'm really unimpressed with how Venti's aged. But if you're a new player and you don't, let's say you main Hu Tao or something, Venti could be good, Hu Tao's a single target DPS. There's a whole bunch of small enemies. Really, you wouldn't want to use Hu Tao in that situation, but there's a whole bunch of small enemies. You can use your Q, hit all of the small enemies that are sucked up into Venti's swirl, because I believe her Q will hit through the swirl. Don't quote me on that, but just assuming. I'm trying to give Venti the benefit of the doubt, but really, I have not had a use for him in a while. I don't think I've used him in the last, 5 Spiral Abysses. It's really just, he's really bad, man. Venti at his worst is really bad, but Venti as his best is, godly, insane best character in the game, too. That's how I feel about Venti, so it just depends on the enemies you're fighting. I'm going to mention this here. Spiral Abyss, when Venti comes out, is specialized for Venti and Cyno. Venti should not be judged based on the current Spiral Abyss or the 3.1 Spiral Abyss, right? He should not be judged on that because it is specifically designed for him and Cyno. It is going to be like that, and it's gonna seem like these characters are way better than they actually are, but they're not. So don't get lured in thinking, oh my god, Venti's insane. He's always like this. He's not. He's definitely not, and I find myself barely ever bringing him on teams. Now let's look at the weapon banner. We have the new Claymore right there. I don't know exactly what it does. It might be good. It might be bad. I don't think they've actually released the details for it. However, I'm assuming that this staff is going to be best in slot for Cyno. I always say this, if you summon for Cyno, then you might as well go for the weapon. This can not be true for some characters, it can be true for other characters, but sometimes the weapon can add upwards of 5,000 damage on every single hit that you're doing with your main DPS. And with Cyno, that's going to be a lot, because Cyno is going to be doing a lot of normal attacks. So if it's adding like a little bit of damage onto his normals, it's going to add up and it's going to be pretty good. However, I wouldn't recommend summoning on this if you don't have Cyno. There's no point in having this spear. If you really need a spear that's just an all-around good spear, would highly recommend just saving for Staff of Homa, because eventually that's going to get reran. And we're not too far off, because I believe that Venti was reran with Hu Tao last. We definitely could see Hu Tao return any update now. So Elegy of the End is also a really, really good weapon. However, Elegy of the End is a really good support weapon. I just wouldn't recommend summoning on it because it's a support weapon. I recommend summoning on 5-star main DPS weapons, because those are yield way, way bigger damage numbers. Now, let's say Staff of Homa, because this was how it happened last time. Yeah, I remember now. So, Staff of Homa was here, and Elegy of the End was here, and we were all freaking out because this was one of the best weapon banners ever. So, you had Staff of Homa here, and it was like, it's the best DPS spear, basically, for, like, multiple characters. So, it was like, well, if you summon for Staff of Homa, and you don't get it, then you might get Elegy of the End, which is already a great support bow. But I wouldn't recommend summoning solely for a support bow, or any weapon for that matter. So I wouldn't recommend summoning on that. But then we go over here. Let's look at the 4 stars again. Favonius Lance, it's a great spear. I use it all the time, just on different team comps. I think I have it on my Yunjin currently, just because she's able to regenerate so much energy from that. Lion's Roar is kind of mid. It's more of a Kaching weapon, but Kaching's kind of out of the meta. Nobody really uses it. Sacrificial Fragments is pretty good for Sucrose, and Favonius Bow is really good for Diona. So we have a good lineup here. I mean, well, let's just say, you know, this Claymore is pretty good, right? You have 4 out of 5 weapons that are pretty good. So depending on what this weapon is, yeah, depending on what this weapon actually does, I wouldn't recommend summoning on this banner, probably. But then we have a more important discussion. The big 3. Naruto, One Piece, and from the looks of it, everybody's chosen Dragon Ball. Which is the correct answer. Anybody who chooses Bleach just really does not know what they're doing. Bleach will never top Gohan killing Cell, okay? I'm sorry. Bleach ain't ever topping that. So it might be because I watched Gohan kill Cell when I was a kid, but nothing will ever top Gohan killing Cell. Not even Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. Gohan killing Cell is the hypest moment of any anime, and you cannot change my opinion on that. So yeah. That's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.